Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And I just did the recap, so I hope you guys are watching it. I am just coming on here. We got to talk about this fight. I wanted to do blow by blow, but I got the times mixed up. So, I ended up seeing the fight. And I started to catch on, but by that time it was already over. It didn't last long, people, 4 rounds. What could I say? Should we expect anything less than what we saw? I mean, anything less. Trevor Bryant, it just shows you about Don King, about Trevor Bryant, about American heavyweight boxing at this point. And I guess you guys, we should know what the importance is about, or the urgency, should I say, not really importance, but the urgency of American heavyweight boxing. We got the Spences, the Crawfords, we have those guys, the Davises, but then who do we have in the heavyweight division at this point? And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. Of course, the massacre, the 4-round massacre of Dubois destroying Trevor Bryant. Hey, I'm looking at it like this. Trevor Bryant got a payday. Don King is past his heyday. Bars. So it's crazy. It's crazy, man. I know these are old because, again, I wanted to start this. I don't know. Steve, you were wrong by a round off. Bryant is too heavy. Look, Bryant is heavy. He's too heavy. He was too heavy at the weigh-in. It looked like to me that Bryant pretty much wasn't really much he could do or did do. I wonder and I question what type of shape he was really in. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, what type of shape he was in. But then the question you ask yourself too, Daniel Dubois was the favorite. We all knew that. But what would he do against someone else, a better opposition? What would he really do? This is Trevor Bryant, though. Obviously, he didn't have anything to offer. He didn't show us really anything. He didn't show any type of resistance. What head movement did we see Daniel Dubois make? What adjustments? Did we see any? Skrilla50, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Again, people, sorry for the tardiness. I could have sworn this shit was coming on like now. It said 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern is now. So I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you what happened, what's going on. I don't know. But we are here now. Again, the recap is up. It was a fight that I expected to go this way. Daniel Dubois, it's not like he's not chinny. And a lot of people question Dubois' heart because of what happened to Joyce. Understand at this point, the reason why I love the Joyce and Dubois fight was because you had two undefeated guys. You had Daniel Dubois stepping up to a guy like Joyce. And then Joyce was just really showing you what level he was on. Not, oh, I'm stepping up or anything. No. He was showing you what level he was on. He showed you that he could take those bombs. He showed you that all you needed is a jab to beat Daniel Dubois. So again, those type of fights, I'm glad that happened because hopefully Dubois learned something. I know he's with Shane McGuigan now, and Shane is like, hey, he's a monster. He's this and that. Dude, I see Frank Bruno. I see Frank Bruno hard punching, very dedicated puncher, but not very good speed. And you have to think about it. Joe Joyce was able to. You know what I mean? And the next question, though, this opens up opportunities. Win, lose, or draw for other fighters. Dubois was untested prior to the Joyce fight. He was. He was. You know, like I told you guys, he was going to lose. I picked Joe Joyce. I know he was favored because, they were trying to put him in there with Dillian White. They were trying to put him in there with Wilder. They wanted those type of fights. You know what I mean? They wanted those type of fights, definitely. So, um, you know, and all it took was a guy named Joe Joyce, a slower guy, not too much slower. Because what we learned about Danny Dubois, he can't be that fast if he was getting tagged like that from Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce's onslaught of punches, he hits you by a variety of punches, not because they're going so fast, he just throws so many of them. So it's hard to, block every one of them and get off like you want to, because eventually one of them is going to hit you, because Usyk was able to punch in between that. But Usyk is a much faster fighter, so he was able to time Joyce, and catch Joyce in mid swing. Listen, Daniel Dubois did exactly what he's supposed to do, or rather. Congrats is over 70,000 subs. Haven't been here in a while, but I am happy for your success, Arlette. Thank you very much. 70,000 and counting. Counterpunch to you. Michael Manning, my guy Kurt. Don King pulled one out of the bag on this one. He moved it up for the UK. Fucking cocksucker. I figured this was something. Like, why did you do that? Like, I get it, but then let me know about it, because I could have been watching it. Yeah, that Kurt is on his game, 70,000 on the way to 100. That's it, all day. Bars. Nice pick, girl. Yeah, that is a nice pick. Joyce should fight Brazil in 10 times speed, so it'll look like a normal speed. That's, man. Yeah, they should speed that up. Prop up the speed like they do in films. That would be a good fight for Joyce, though. But I don't even know if Dominic Brazil's fighting anymore. Because after he took that ass whooping from Otto Vailene and then just totally got dismantled by Wilder, he got beat up the first time by Joshua. Joshua took him out in 7. Wilder took him out in 1. And he got his ass beat all 12 rounds by Otto Vailene. So I don't know if he wants to come back to the sport of boxing. So, but we'll see. Yeah, but I would like to see that, though, because I think Joe Joyce is, and that may or may not be a good fight for Joyce, because Joyce is higher he's like number 2 in the WBC now. So if I'm Joyce, I should be one of those guys acting like anybody on the PBC lineup. You know how those guys act. They act like they're the top, the cream of the crop, bars. They can't be stopped. They can't. And you can't get them in there to save your life. You couldn't buy a fight from them. That's how Joyce should be, because Joyce is the number 2. Actually, I don't know why he's not number 1. Wilder should be number 2. Joyce should be number 1. There, I said it. Kurt, Sky signed Joe Parker on Boxer 2. Now we know what happened to the Joyce fight. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that. You know what, Michael? I knew that, I'm having a baby bullshit. I knew that was trash. I know that was absolute garbage. Man, I got a new drug. It's called Kangen water. You guys ever had Kangen water? It's good stuff, man. It's like 9.95, no, 9.5 alkaline. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. But yeah, Michael, I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that whatsoever. None of that stuff. All of a sudden, I'm having a baby. You having a baby? Dude, you knew you were having a baby before. But anyway, yeah, that's just, I think that was insulting our intelligence there. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can call that Andy Lee was having a baby first man in history. I know, right? Yeah. Unless the baby came early or something like that, or some type of problem with pregnancy. I get that, but you are predicting you wouldn't be ready for a fight that you planned. Does that make any type of sense? Like, you planned a fight, you planned a a training camp with your fighter. Then you go back and then you cancel it, saying, "Oh yeah, that's right. My child is being born." And the only way I would buy that, unless Andy Lee was drunk. Andy Lee and Joseph Parker was drunk when they made the decision to fight Joe Joyce. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe Andy Lee is a male seahorse. I never heard that one. That one's new to me. But no, man, Dubois. Yeah, Dubois is a good 1-2 fighter or mirror man dad. What up, Kay? Do you ever put guests on your channel? Of course, of course. It's been a while. I'm trying to get Bill Haney on. Uh, but of course, you know how that goes. He's the father of the undisputed lightweight champion. So between Fight Height, IFL TV, those kind of guys, Boxing Voice, they'll get that type of shit over mine. And I'm like, okay, look at Teofimo, look at his dad, and even his dad was at least honest. Yo, bro, you better get me now because when we beat Lomachenko, bro, you probably won't even be able to find me. I'll be too big then. And that's exactly what happened. Kurt had Kenny Porter. Yeah. I had Kenny, and I still have a lot of footage to come out with. I have a lot of footage to release about that. I'm going to put a lot on members only. So you guys are not members, you should be, because a lot of the raw things, actually, I have the whole interview on members only, like raw, uncut, the location, because a lot of stuff was cut out. Some people, done. I don't mean like he didn't want me to say certain things like that, but it's just like certain things for like privacy purposes, were cut out. So, that reveals the whole thing. So if you're a member, I think that's where you need to go if you want the whole drag out thing. We did a nice workout session after that. You know what I mean? That was pretty badass. So you guys need to check that out. Triple D reminds me of DDD. Triple D reminds me of Bruno, a decent fighter, but very basic. Yeah. Like Floyd said about Triple G, if you guys can remember what Floyd, the Hall of Famer now, that was inducted in the Hall of Fame, Floyd, money, pretty boy. Mayweather, he said this about Triple G, the same thing I'll say about Triple D. He said, just straight up and down, no special effects, just a typical fighter, nothing special about him. I remember Stephen A. Smith was like, whoa, Floyd, stay away from Triple G. You are welterweight. You stay there. You do not go up there and mess with Triple G. That's very disrespectful. I love you, but don't mess with him. Don't do it. Counterpunch to my brother, please. What time is the match, Dubois and Bryant? Bro, it's over. Can you believe that? Listen. Lucisan, Daniel, check this out. Check out my because I do have highlights on there. I was able to get some highlights on that particular video. That's the breakdown video. So my breaking video of that, check that out, and you at least have the highlights of the fight. Okay, so like and subscribe to this channel. Kurt is cool peeps. Thank you, Arlette. Tio Senior and Angel Garcia would be the best of friends. Man, they might be. They might be. You could see them. I'm telling you. Be like old ring IQ. Yeah, them bro. Yo, they do coke, bro. I mean, you got it, man. Check it out and come back to the live stream. LP 611 Ninja. Hello, brother Kurt. What's up, brother? Counter punch to you. Triple D should have fought against Lara a few years ago. Well, yeah. In fact, he should have fought Lara in probably 2016. Yeah, that would have been dope. And the problem is though, Abel Sanchez didn't want that fight for Triple D. For Triple G, he didn't want it. He didn't want that fight. He said he didn't want it. He didn't like it. He said that Lara didn't have a big enough name. And I'm like, what's bigger than Canelo Alvarez, dickhead? You know what I mean? He fought Canelo, 12 rounds, split decision, controversial loss to Canelo. Didn't give him a rematch. Fucking Oscar Dello. No, there's no rematch. Did you hear Oscar in the press conference when Lara, estoy ganando esta pelea. Este es te digo. Es el señor Golden Boy. But Oscar, he said this because people want to rematch. Rematch. Nobody's getting a rematch. We fought Lara. We gave Lara the opportunity. But no, there's no rematch. He has to go behind the line. The line is back there. There's no rematch. I'm like, he has to go in the back of the line. I'm like, even though you knew these scorecards were all janked up, jagged, corrupted, and tampered with, now you tell him to go. Nobody wanted to fight Lara like that, especially after that fight. They knew, like, nobody wants to fight somebody that moved like that. Bastard got arms like the Haslam from Street Fighter, or Doslam, or however you pronounce it, right? And, he's just, you know what I mean? Man, Don King had better commentators than DAZN. Yeah. I mean, look, DAZN got some pretty shitty commentary. No disrespect to any of them. I just don't like it. It's nothing like HBO. It's nothing like Showtime. Even you got Paulie. I don't think he's a fighter. I think these fighters are good, man. That guy, good catch and shoot. Look, I'll take Porter. Porter will run you over. And look, and at the end of the day, but even when you hear someone like Paula Malignaggi, that's more entertaining than motherfuckers on DAZN. I'm gonna tell you who's not a bad person for commentary. That's Deontay Wilder, because he was the commentary for Klitschko Joshua. Mm-hmm. That no rematch sounds like Tank Davis versus Pitbull Cruz. Yeah. Well, they pulled Pitbull Cruz in, but he's good. I think at the end of the day, Cruz is a guy that got blessed. Think about if he wouldn't have got the Tank fight. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't pull a Rolly Romero. He didn't pull a Leo Santa Cruz, So he did a good job. He won some rounds in the fight, and he did that all a short notice. So, they made a star out of him. Let's put it this way. He has a lot of buzz because Pitbull Cruz is he's only important and he's only important to his next fight. We have to see what he can do. He only means anything if he wins. If he loses, nobody will worry. He will go out like Blair DeFlair and Chris Colbert. Both of those guys you don't hear shit from now. They're done. Why? Because they lost. Mm-hmm. The zone commentation is very bad. Yeah. It doesn't have it. The zone I always felt had some type of void. So, but back to Abel Sanchez. He's not the only one that, ducks Cuban fighters. He did that with Ortiz and who was it? Joyce. Joyce was being trained by Abel Sanchez, and Abel was like, no, hell no, we're not fighting Luis Ortiz. Because they knew at that time, it's the waiting game. See, Ortiz is beatable now, much beatable now than he was 3 years ago. In fact, in 2019, he was beating Wilder. You know, he was beating Wilder the first fight. He was beating Wilder the second fight. He was leading on the scorecards on all those fights, both fights. He just got caught with massive punching power from Wilder. But if you don't knock out Ortiz, you're not going to outbox him because he's a good boxer. And he's aggressive and he's a southpaw and he's a fucking counterpuncher. But now, like back then, they knew that. Abel Sanchez knew that. He knew that I'm not going to put my boy Joe Joyce in there, slow as he is, against a counterpuncher like Ortiz. Why? Because Ortiz will be that guy that hits you the same way he hit fucking I walk this earth like a god, Charles Martin, and then guess what'll happen? Crickets. Right? Z's. Boom, boom was awful in the ring. With Fury being retired, he could do commentary. He likes to talk. Yeah, I would like to see that. All you need to do is give Fury a good beer, some good ale, some fucking mead. Yeah, that'll be good. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin, good late morning here in the UK, Kurt. I knew Dubois would knock out Bryant. Well, you know what, Nikki? It was in favor of him. Bryant didn't have really nothing to offer. I did raise my eyebrows and scratch my head when I heard about Larry Holmes, but other than that, it's like, that's not a fucking Larry Holmes. You know what I mean? So basically, they brought Larry Holmes in for him to emulate Larry Holmes. That's what they did, and it didn't work. Les Reed off to bed. It's 1:38 in the UK. Good night to you, Les Reed. Diego C. Palace. Evening to you. But no, Daniel Dubois, man, he took him out. That left hook did come out of nowhere though, because he threw it. He just threw it. It wasn't robotic. It was almost like it was a check left hook almost. You know what I mean? Because Dubois leaned in and he just threw it, and and it caught him flush. Boom! It was over with. And Trevor Bryant, he went through all those damn fights without being tested. And Danny Dubois, I think he was mad and he was pissed off and he wanted to do that to Trevor Bryant. Trevor Bryant was talking some shit, man. When he came in with those maxi pads, that was hilarious, dude. That was hilarious. Triple D should fight Joseph Parker. That would be good. I think Joseph Parker would beat him. I think he would beat Daniel Dubois. He's faster. He has better experience. He's young. I don't see Daniel Dubois knocking him out. Not saying he doesn't have the punching power to. I just don't see it with the style that he has. Because, one thing about Joseph Parker, as much as he sparred with Fury and all that, he does have more of a stick and move style like he did with Derek Chisora. And Derek Chisora is he was a resistance the first fight because Derek just fights everybody the way he just comes at you. But Parker in the second fight, he made adjustments and he found out how to catch Chisora. Okay. And he caught him right in his tracks. He caught him in between swings and he took him down. I think he could do that to Dubois, especially if Dubois haven't learned any head movement or how to defend against a jab. To see, one thing like I told you guys, Dubois is so used to coming in and banging guys out to the point where he feels he doesn't need to do anything else but what he's been doing. He was too familiar at what he was doing to understand that what he does or what he was doing doesn't always work. And because it doesn't always work, you're going to run in there with somebody that's going to be, because we've already seen it. And people know Daniel Dubois, or they don't, they should. They should know, like, well, maybe this motherfucker doesn't have real true boxing fundamentals and follows them. He's robotic. He's a hard puncher. He has heavy hands, but then yet, if you can hit him, just, especially now he has like this mark. Anybody that has any type of injury, fracture's terrible. Fractures take years to heal. See, when I was 5, I got hit by a truck. Ran, slapped the hell over. True story. I fractured, compound fracture in my leg. It wasn't a break. If it was a break, it would be different. See, fracture is kind of like a fucking, like it doesn't heal the way a broken bone would. Dubois needs more easy fights. Kaunaki would be a good fit. Well, you would have to drag Kaunaki from the PBC because he's a PBC fighter. Actually, that would be a pretty good fight, though. Kaunaki and Dubois. Why? Because they both fight the same. They both come forward fighters. It's either you're going to knock them out or they're going to knock you out. I think Dubois has a bigger punch, but I think Kaunaki's busier. But then if Kaunaki gets hit, he's hurt. And I think what we've learned about Kaunaki, when you hurt him, you got him. Because there's no real defense. His defense is his offense. If his offense ain't going to work, it's not going to do anything else. He doesn't have anything else. Exactly. Fracture is worse than broken. It sure the hell is. But of course, I don't have to tell you that, do I? 100% Parker would school Dubois. Yeah, I agree with you. I am in agreement because Parker just been in there with Joshua White, Chisora twice. He took out guys like was it Yoka? Tony Yoka. So yeah, he's been in there. He's had his time. Ask Skip or a Skip. Headed to bed. Keep up the hard work. Thank you, brother. By the way, Don King pretending to care about Ukraine was hilarious. All King cares about is himself. Helena's versus Dubois would be a good too, I think. Yeah, I think while they're doing it, let's do this. Let's take the losers out of the pack. Let's take Brian, and let's put Brian in there with Charles Martin. And Charles Martin can do what Triple D can do. Hopefully, he can set himself up with somebody. Get himself back in position. I believe Dubois' victory now means he is the mandatory challenger to the winner of AJ's rematch with Usyk. Is Dubois ready for the title bout? Diego C. Palace. Yes, he's ready. Will he win? No. I don't see Dubois beating Joshua nor Alexander Usyk. I see Usyk stopping him, just accumulation of punches. I see Usyk catching him with the left. I think Usyk will hit him with so many punches to the point where they'll stop it, or he'll refracture or re-injure that eye that Joe Joyce already done. So something will be reintroduced as far as injury in a fight with Usyk. Joshua would probably stop Triple D. Yeah, because he's just too. See, and that's the thing. Joshua looks like Frank Bruno if there was no Daniel Dubois. You would think Joshua ain't nothing but a Frank Bruno 2.0. Yeah, but he's a Frank Bruno 2.0 though. Okay. Daniel Dubois is like a stationary standard model after Frank Bruno. Anthony Joshua is like a Frank Bruno 2.0 because he has other attributes. He's a little faster. He has better punch placement. Frank Bruno was a good fighter, though. Don't make any mistake about it. Stop. And then I think they compare Joshua to Frank because they were both cut up individuals. They're both well shaped, built guys. So I think a lot of times that has a lot to do with it. You know, Huey Fury or Michael Hunter next. I go for Michael. I got Michael in that fight. Now in the UK though, that's going to be the challenge. That's going to be the question. You know, I believe Dubois victory now means that he is a mandatory. Yeah, I already got that. Okay, who is Joyce fighting in July? I don't know. Either Joyce though should fight someone as a tune-up. I don't think he should just because they fucked him over on Parker's end. I don't think that should, he should waste that time in training camp because when you put your body through that, you're conditioning it for a particular fight. So I think they should give him one. But they may just wait for Parker. Who knows? Just to be safe. So a lot of these times you pick somebody up and fight them. So who are you going to throw Joe Joyce in there? That's, can't be Ruiz, can't be Ortiz, can't be Joshua Usyk. Of course not. That's championship level. Wilder would probably more than likely fight Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz is fighting Ortiz. Michael Hunter has a fight with Fury. Who else is out there? I mean, maybe Jarrell Miller. That would be a good fight. Jarrell Miller and Joe Joyce would be a very good fight. We'll see what Jarrell Miller can do, and if Jarrell Miller can beat Joe Joyce, he becomes number 2. Bars. Another U.S. opponent would help build Dubois' American profile. That's true. XK shots. That's absolutely true. Dubois should want to fight Jarrell Miller. That's who he needs to fight. Someone known. Someone another undefeated fighter. And it looks good for Dubois' resume beating undefeated guys. So it's very good. Trevor Bryant versus Christopher Lovejoy. Sign me up. I've never seen the resemblance between AJ and Bruno. AJ reminds me of a worse version of Lennox. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that is probably a better. I like that. The Joker. That's no joke. He's like an unpolished Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is like how Anthony Joshua would really want to become as a fighter. Lennox Lewis is the best version of, I think, or the best. How could I say this? The best version of Anthony Joshua would be Lennox Lewis in his prime. How Lennox Lewis fought. That's what he would hope to be. That's what he would aim to be. Miller would have to KO Joyce or lose. Yeah, because Joe Joyce will not let up. He's not going to let up, dude. He won't. Parker versus Joyce is never going to happen. Parker just signed a long-term deal with Boxer. Well, I mean, here's my thing. This is how you know when certain people sign contracts only for money. Easy. You know how? When they don't give a shit who's on their stable of fighters to fight. If you guys remember where Terrence Crawford was going to leave Bob Arum, which he did, and they asked Eddie Hearn, they were like, Eddie, what do you think about signing Terrence Crawford? He was like, well, I don't have anybody for him to fight. Like, who do I have in my stable of fighters that I can negotiate a fight with? So I have no use for Terrence Crawford, and he doesn't have any use for me. See, that's a person right there that gives a shit about making good fights. Because what happens is these guys just want to sign this one fighter, and they sign this fighter, and they're just thinking about how much money or what fights they can get made with that fighter so they can get a percentage of that fighter. So when you don't hear about, you got Luis Ortiz and Andy Ruiz over there, if you don't even ask about that, and you don't even ask, well, who would I be matched up with to make some good money? Who would I be matched up with? If you don't ask those type of questions, you're just worried about how many zeros on a piece of paper called a check. You're not worried about fighting the best, and neither is your promotional company. But of course, this is Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker I think he's just doing it only for the money, because you have to look at anybody's career as a up, a high, and the low. Some people get stagnant, and I think Joseph Parker is one of those guys. I think Joseph Parker is a guy that he doesn't really care about getting the title back and none of that shit. Because I think Joseph Parker's thinking of it like this: I've had that title, I had the WBC. I'm like the first person from my country to ever have it. So I've already made history. I'm a fucking Andy Ruiz in my own country. So I've made money from the Joshua fight and a couple other fights. The Dillian White fight, and made some good money. And, so he's good. He's well. If you hear Joseph Parker and you hear him talk, he's such a gentle soul. He's so cool and laid back, because he knows he ain't worried about shit. He ain't worried about nothing. Joseph Parker is a guy that I think he's content with doing whatever he's doing. He signed that damn contract with Boxer because he wanted the money. He didn't give a shit about fighting all these tough. He doesn't care. Because a guy like Joseph Parker, look at his resume. I would love to see Joseph Parker against Oscar Rivas. And where the hell is Oscar Rivas anyway? Where the hell has he been? Counterpunch. Bryant did look himself. Bryant did look himself with the weight loss. To be fair, and I have seen his previous fights. I thought Parker was gifted a victory against Ruiz. Well, he's been in there with Ruiz. He beat Ruiz. He fought Joshua. He fought White. He fought Chisora. He fought Yoka. He fought Chisora twice. Now he fights Joyce. I mean, Joseph Parker has a pretty good resume. And I don't think Joseph Parker is like, I don't think he's thirsty. I don't think he's hungry. I just think he wants some fucking money. Everything's good. I feel good. I feel great. Training camp's good. Andy's good. Everything's good. Give me a steak. I like steak with pineapple. Raw. I thought Rivas was fighting in Bridgerweight. Yeah, but I mean, who's he fought? I mean, what's his name? What's the other Bryant? Brian Jennings. He doesn't want to fight Oscar Rivas. He doesn't want any of that, because Oscar already beat him. Parker won't fight Joyce. He will fight White in a rematch, and he has signed with Sky. Well, again, if that happens, that proves my point, people. Joseph Parker, if he fights Dillian White instead of Joe Joyce, what that means, he's doing it for the money. And it's a better chance that he beats Dillian White now than he does Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is that undefeated guy. We just seen Dillian White get knocked the hell out once again by an uppercut. Parker officially signed with Sky, meaning no Joyce fight. Sami Ali, White versus Parker 2 will be made. Yeah, but I don't even really want to see that shit. We saw that already. I don't want to see it. I hope Martin Bacali gets some big fight soon. He mauled Yoka. Yeah, that was a surprise. He took Yoka's ass out. So Yoka, Junior Fa, it's not looking good for them. White being the A side and Parker being the B side. Yeah. Oscar Rivas might be the only fighter in Bridgerweight. That's a damn shame. And then they're trying to make opponents for him, but then I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're just going to elevate him to championship status so he could pay sanctioning fees. Oscar Rivas, I want to elevate him to WBC Bridgerweight champion. Now give me your dues. $365,000 US. Fucking crook. There's other people in Bridgerweight, we just never heard of them. Well, that means shit to us. unless there's like some, you know, sleeping giants in there or something like that. But like that was the worst thing they should have ever done, because what they did, they took the heavyweight division and chopped it in two and called it another division. I hate it when they did that. I hated that because Mauricio knew I need more money, so we're going to take smaller heavyweights and make them bridger weights. Because there's already a bridger weight, right? It's called cruiser weight. That's where they got the idea. So you're just basically making a bigger fucking cruiserweight. That's all you're doing. So you got light heavy, okay, super middle, light heavy, 175. Then you got cruiser, because cruiser is like, it's cruising. Bridger weight's like that. It's like a bigger cruiserweight, which is dumb. And it just tells you cruiserweight, light heavy, cruiserweight, and heavy wasn't enough. No, we need more divisions because I feel that it's not fair to the smaller fighter, but we will have a championship weight class for that. Exactly. That's all it is, dude. If you think about it, think about what I'm telling you guys. A bridger weight title is nothing more but a super cruiserweight. It's just a bigger ass cruiserweight title. That's all they did. And he did that so he can create another line of revenue, calling another division a division. Now give me your money. Dame tu dinero, por favor. I got Rivas beating Triple D. Well, you have to understand, Danny Dubois is a big heavyweight, so you have to take that into account. Rivas is tough, and he dropped Dillian White and all in round 9 and all that stuff, but then he's not. I don't think he's polished. I think he's just too tough for his own good. I would love to see Rivas being trained by Mike Tyson. By Mike. Mike get him that side to side peekaboo stance, and is able to go side to side with a man. Oscar Rivas, as short as he is, because he's not a tall guy, he ain't no short fucking guy. I mean, he's 6 foot, so that's not really massive. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he's small enough for the peekaboo defense to actually work. That style, I feel, to work with him. And I think he has the power. I think he just needs to know how to harness it. And I think that style would generate him that power that he needs to be a successful heavyweight. Fuck bridgerweight. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't care about bridgerweight at all, because I know it's a scam. You don't even hear it promoted. You know why you don't hear it promoted? Because he doesn't need to promote it. He just needs the money from the division that he created. I'm trying to tell you guys that. That dude, Mauricio Suleiman, is a fucking pimp. He's a big Mexican fucking pimp. A politician pimp. MPP, Mexican politician pimp. And he's doing all he can to create more revenue for the organization. Fucking turd. All that money with the WBC, Suleiman still has yellow teeth. Yellow ass teeth. I get that from eating pussy. Nah. Oh, man, that's crazy. White and Parker would be interesting. Could White catch Parker for a KO? Parker win a decision? I don't know. I always felt, though, if Parker and White were going to fight each other, they should have fought before now. I think now we're seeing a fight just to see one. Because I think because of what happened in that fight, he dropped White, and White was in trouble and all that shit, and he ran out of gas, all that shit, So it's crazy. So I don't, now watching it, I want to see those guys fight other people. I want to see if White still has it to beat anybody, or unless he was just fighting Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury was just so good. He was so good on the day. Ruiz is going to get pummeled by old Ortiz unless he gets an illegal shot behind the head, and I believe Charles Martin is massively improved and can beat some top guys. Well, I don't know. I hope that happens. I hope Ortiz knocks Andy Ruiz out and Andy Ruiz goes home. Then what they could do, they could give old ass Ortiz a title shot at some shape, form, or fashion somewhere fighting somebody. I don't know who, somebody. Rivas versus Jennings 2 could be a fun fight for the Bridgerweight. The first was quality. I agree with your your take on the division being a joke, but as a standalone fight, it would be fun. Did you did you see Fury? Did you see Fury fighting before facing the Joshua Usyk winner? It's safe to say he isn't retiring yet. Well, I hope he's not retired. I don't believe that he is. I don't see why he should retire. I just don't buy any of that bullshit about Tyson Fury retiring. I don't think Tyson Fury knows how to retire. I don't think Tyson Fury is healthy retiring. I think the best thing for Tyson Fury is to stay fighting, to stay focused on the next quality task at hand. I think he should stay fighting for his mental illness. And it goes hand in hand with pain and pleasure and punishment, and conditioning and all that. But I think doing all that would give him some sense of worth, you know, uh, instead of just sitting there and be like, I have nothing else, or I do not want to do anything else but sit there and think about negative thoughts and all that shit. I think he needs to challenge himself. I think, he shouldn't take the Mayweather route where Mayweather just finds somebody to fight just for the sake of saying I never been beat in my last fucking fight. I'm gonna fight Andre Berto. Andre Berto, you know? And you would have asked the Floyd back in the yesteryear, oh, you mean Andre Berto, the one with 5 losses? You mean that Andre Berto, and you want him to put him in there with me? That's what he said about Sugar Shane Mosley, right? You mean Sugar Shane with 5 losses? That Sugar Shane? That Sugar Shane Brian Kenny? They need a backup plan for Deontay Bridgerweight. If they can get his ass down there, but I think he's too stubborn. I think he's too stubborn now. Because if Malik Scott won't tell him, like, Wilder, bro, you need to lose some fucking weight. It's affecting your reflexes. It's affecting your speed. It might be affecting his power. Because I think what went hand in hand with Wilder was what made Wilder's punches, besides the explosive punching power, was the speed in which they came. See, he was able to catch guys like Ortiz slipping because he was smaller. They didn't need that 10 pounds in the second fight. And not only did they didn't need it, they put on 10 more pounds. So Wilder was like 238. It's too much. So I don't even know if they can get him down to that weight. But I mean, after all, was talking about going to cruiserweight. They may eventually make more classes every 5 rounds. Like the lighter weights, just wait. Gritty. Let's make a super cruiserweight, bridgerweight champion. Let's make a super light heavyweight champion division. Be giving out belts everywhere. Here's your belt. Where's my check? White, Wilder, Fury, Joshua, Reed, Joyce, and Parker. Or that top level and must mix it in with each other. Well, you forgot about Usyk. You know, Usyk's going to give people a lot of problems if he beats Joshua. You guys know that? He's going to give him a lot. He's going to give the heavyweight division a lot of problems because what's going to happen, I think Eddie Hearn's right. If Joshua knocks out Usyk, because that's the only way I see him winning. I don't see him winning by beating Usyk up. I don't think he's just going to beat Usyk up because nobody just beats Usyk up. Chisora battered him, bashed him, but he didn't beat him. Okay? Chisora showed you how to fight that type of fighter, but he wasn't successful doing it. Yes, in spots, but not enough of the fight to win. If Iron Mike trained Rivas, he'd wreck the division. He would. You have to throw the jab, slip the jab, slip the jab, slip the jab. Go to the body, come up. You know, and in fucking Rivas, he catches that shit. Dude, I want that to happen. You know, damn the Canadians that's training him now. They're trash. They're garbage. He's smaller, so he needs to be more elusive. So he needs to work on his counter punch and his catch and shoot. He needs to worry about his offense. Okay, and he has to, and he has to use his size like Usyk does. Usyk's not even that short. The guy's 6 foot tall, and he's tough as shit. He took everything anybody. He's never been down. Oscar Rivas has never been down as a heavyweight. Never. He's never been stopped. He's never been dropped. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's affected. He gets hit, but he's tough. He's a tough motherfucker. So he has the durability. He has the punching power. We've seen what he can do. Anyway. White should beat Dubois, but I have a hard time trusting his chin against power punches. The Joker, all Dubois has to do is hit him with an uppercut. Good night, Dillian White. Bars. White should beat Dubois. Trevor Bryant versus Jarrell Miller is a must-see fight over in the U.S. You know what? I'm going to tell you exactly who Trevor Bryant is. He's a low-level George Kambosos. He's just American. Nobody wants to see Kambosos fight anybody else. Why? Because he didn't make a good account of himself when he did. He couldn't successfully defend his titles. He didn't make the adjustments. The thing that he tried to do, he didn't execute. Same for Trevor Bryant. So for watching Trevor Bryant again, I mean, he didn't do anything spectacular for us as viewers to really view into, to really engage in. We can't say, man, he gave Dan Dubois one hell of a fight. No, we can't say that. All we can say, he got knocked the fuck out in the 4th rounds. Oh, you talking about, oh, yeah, the dude talked all that shit, came there with the maxi pads and shit, throwing him on the ground for Danny Dubois, and he was the only one that needed him? Right? Come on, man. Trevor Bryant not being in the ring is what Americans really want. If Dubois hits White with an uppercut, it's over, though. Man, I would say so. You almost did it, Kurt. They are robbing fighters, especially with those sanctioning fees. I almost did what? Usyk will upset a lot of promoters for sure. You do the best imitations. Francis on Gono versus Fury. I believe Fury will do some shit like that. Look, if Fury doesn't retire, I see him doing that Mayweather shit. Fighting everybody else and doing that, But you know why he's doing it. He's doing it for money, less risk. But if he doesn't come back, he's scared of the Ukrainian monster. Well, that's going to be the narrative, and it should be. You don't claim you wanted to fight a guy, and the only reason you didn't fight the guy was because the guy that you had to pay off, because that guy, he was supposed to be fighting the guy that you claimed to fight. He wanted more money, so that's the only reason you didn't care to fight. Then you fight a guy that was mandated for you to fight. You fight him and you fucking retire. So you mean to tell me you don't get right back on track of the guy that you wanted to fight, you claimed you wanted to fight? If that was the case, why didn't you pick your shit back up and continue your journey? Counterpunch. So what, like, you can't tell me like, oh, I don't have anything else to prove. Yeah, you do. The guy that took your pot of gold, Alexander Usyk, you need to whoop his ass because he took you and stole your opportunity. He stole your opportunity from you. He beat the guy that was going to give you millions in Saudi Arabia. Thanks to your two old geezer fucking promoters, sit back and watch Eddie run around the fucking world to produce a fight that they know damn well they couldn't even produce because of an arbitration. That's what happened. Okay? And because of your two old geezer promoters and Alexander Usyk, you don't get your pot of gold. So yeah, I would have a big problem with Usyk if I'm Tyson Fury. Counterpunch. Think about what I'm saying. If I'm Tyson Fury, the first person I would want to get into that ass, I want to wax that ass of Alexander Usyk. Why? Because Alexander Usyk stole my opportunity. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, he made a lot of money fighting White. White made $8 million. He made what, 20, 25? But what's 25 million compared to 150? Not a damn thing. That's just like saying this. Hey man, I'll give you hey man, let me give you this job. I'll give you $26 to do this job for me. I don't know. How long is it going to take me? Versus, hey man, I'll give you $150 to do this one thing for me. Okay. Right? That's a huge difference. So, yes, if I'm Tyson Fury, this is how I would be. After I beat White. Usyk, you little middleweight prick. I'm coming to get you, Usyk. If you mop up Joshua, I'm going to take you out, me boy. You just keep doing what you're doing. You stole me pot of gold, lad. I'm going to take you out. I took out one Ukrainian. I'm going to take out another Ukrainian. It's going to be your head on a spike, you bum, because I'm a Spartan. That's how Tyson Fury should be. Right there. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That's how his spirit and his mindset should be. Just like that. I don't have anything else to prove. I've done everything that I'm going to do. You knocked out Dillian White, your old sparring partner, and that's it? When you got fucking Usyk and Joshua on the other side of the street going to battle, and you telling me you don't want the fighter out of those two? What's up, Kurt? Dubois was the first to went back to 1978 to win a belt. Foreman beat Briggs, and Briggs was gifted the W. Yeah, I remember that. I think people overlooked that Usyk done in the Chisora fight. Chisora looked lost by around 5 or 6. He lost gas like he always does. Chisora's old. He's an old, wounded, tested fucking warlord. That's all he is. He's a soldier. AJ shouldn't concern himself with scoring points against Usyk. He needs the damage when he lands. Yeah, but you got to land. That's the problem. You got to land those things. And if it's that hard to land, you're not going to put so many punches into a punch that you don't know that's going to land. Why do you think AJ was just like, who's doing that shit all day? Why? Instead of, why? Because he didn't know if they were going to land because Usyk was coming left or right, bobbing, weaving, slipping and ducking, throwing punches and bunches. That's what he was doing. And that was a difficult style to deal with. But of course, you would have someone like Tyson Fury and Dillian White and Deontay Wilder, and a lot of fucking people have everything to say about Joshua's performance with Usyk and fighting Usyk and this, that, and the other, but you guys have not fought Usyk. So how the hell would you know? Counterpunch. That's what kills me about these guys. None of these motherfuckers are fighting each other. Now, if they beat Usyk, they have all the reason in the world to talk shit because I done something Joshua couldn't do. Therefore, I'm talking about Joshua. Let me tell you about Joshua because I already beat the motherfucker that beat him. So I know I'm better than him. You know the triangle theory bullshit. And I don't even believe in that. But you do have the right to say what you did versus what someone else couldn't do or was unable to do. But they can't because they haven't. And they haven't because they haven't stepped up to the fucking the plate, right? Nah, Trevor Bryant is a better boxer than Wilder. I don't give it into the bullshit. It's got to be hard to stay hard fighter after fighting, after accomplishing so much. Motivation becomes harder and harder to find, but undisputed should spark the fire. Well, I fought one guy 3 times. I fought Otto Vailene to a 12-round decision. I beat Dillian White. I beat Vladimir Klitschko a long time ago. I got high off drugs and drank for like 2.5 years. Damn near 3. Because you have to take an account of when he won, he started getting fucked up right after that. Tyson did. I mean, so he had his own. This battle he had, with himself, with his mind, with his body, with addiction, with mental illness, which is addiction. If he would have fought us 2 other people than just Wilder twice, it would have like if that would have been Joshua then Usyk, he would be the best. Why? Because he beat the best in the generation. He beat everybody. He beat White, he beat Wilder, he beat Usyk, he beat Joshua. Fuck Andy Ruiz because Andy hasn't beat anybody else to prove that he's in somebody else. So we can't even mention him. You know what I mean? Like, so there's not a lot of resistance out there, but you still have 2 people that you could fight. As a matter of fact, it's easier for him because he doesn't even have to fight both of them. He just has to fight one of them, whoever the winner is. That mother sucker talked all that shit to get knocked out. Yeah, TJ. He did, man. Dubois and Joyce couldn't hit Fury at 26 stones. That shows his class. I just watched the prospect on Don King's show, Dakari Scott, and he can really box a good technical game like Jared Anderson. And those are USA next hope. Okay. He said a long time ago that he would not fight Usyk. Well, he said that because he didn't speak English. He said that because he's not marketable. He said that because he has nothing to offer. But that was then. You shouldn't have that type of mindset now, ever. Ever. I'll do a video on that, on why Tyson should fight Usyk. As you guys heard it here, but there you go. Usyk is the man. Fire emojis, greeting from New Zealand. Counterpunch to you, Daniel. Dubois or Anderson? Who is better prospect in your opinion? Would be a good fight in a few years. You know who Dubois should fight? Which it would probably, and this is what happened. Dubois is not going to fight anybody worth mentioning at all. He's going to fight the same opposition that he's fought before he fought Bryant. And who's to say Bryant is at a level? He's not. Who knows? Great champions maintain a high level. Buster Douglas, Andy Ruiz, etc. couldn't do that. That's why Fury is borderline great at the moment. Anderson is better than Dubois technically. He is, of course. Is he bigger? No. Is he faster? Yeah. But that's but he's a fighter that's untested. If Fury doesn't care about money or belts, then why should he care about Usyk? You think, Mr. Dizzle, you think Fury don't care about money? That motherfucker cares about money. Don't let him bullshit you. Don't let him pull that fucking Amber Heard bullshit on you. Because that's all that is. I don't care about money. I'm a Spartan. That's the fucking lie. I just got off the phone with Prince Ali. The money is in the bank. Come on, man. I'm from the UK, and I will admit Jacare Scott and Jared Anderson are going to bring a lots of problems to the UK heavyweights. Okay. I want to see that. Don't forget old Frank Sanchez, though. Remember him? He's now a Joe Goosen fighter. Absolutely. But Daniel Dubois, congratulations on him. I'm proud of him. This is his bounce back moment. He's the WBA regular champion. I know this is bigger than any title that he's had. So, if you look at it through his eyes, he's done a major accomplishment. Okay. But anyway, appreciate you guys for coming on. I know it's late where you are. Get some sleep. God bless. And everyone has been Counterpunch. Peace.